June 1st, Rex would catch a conspiracy to deliver charge, which is basically when you sell to an undercover cop or an informant.
Damn, niggas knocked down the undercover.
Would quickly bond.
Yo, I'm not want to waste time, so we're gonna get straight into it. Today we about to be reacting to Milwaukee rappers get rich off drug dealing, the YPN story. Now, if you aren't aware about who YPN is, it's a clique, you know what I'm saying? But everybody in Milwaukee know who the fuck YPN is. If you don't know, you about to know. I ain't gotta explain nothing. Let's get into it.
Warning, this video is for educational and
video coming from True Street TV. I fuck with this nigga videos just cause the simple fact that he touches on areas that I'm into. You get what I'm saying? Like Milwaukee stories, like Milwaukee rappers or rappers that I listen to. So I'm gonna be tapping into his channel probably for a couple more videos, depending on who we post. Hey.
Purposes only. No video produced by this channel is meant to glorify or support any illegal activity. This channel covers events that may include topics involving violence and illegal substances. Viewer discretion advised.
Police say one of the cars in that gunfight crashed up the street.
Damn it, only been 30 days, dumped the whole birdie. Yes, chicken talk, I know you heard me. You ain't having chicken talk
if you ain't up 30.
Welcome back to another episode of True Street TV, where we cover everything street related. Hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell, and let's get right into it. Today's story brings us back to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Now, I know when most people hear Milwaukee or even Wisconsin, they ask the same question. Are there even any black people there?
They don't ask that shit no more. Hey, best believe, Milwaukee been putting on lately. Chicken P putting on.
It's a ridiculous question. Milwaukee has roughly the same amount of black people as Atlanta. And although about half of Milwaukee is black, about 70% of the police force is white. Wisconsin also locks up African American men at a higher rate than any other state in the country, leaving thousands of Milwaukee's black youth fatherless and heading down the same exact path. This brings us to the man we're here to talk about today. 29-year-old Delisette Joyner, or better known as YPN Dougie, and his cousin, 29-year-old Marquise Lloyd, or as YPN Keys.
Y'all know what's fucking crazy? Because I literally grew up with this. Me and my uncle grew up with this nigga. I'm talking about yes. Basically, we grew up with each other because off 20th, I was like a legit like yay high. I was a kid. Like young as fuck. But no, cause he used to kick with my uncle. Niggas used to come over all the time. They was badass little kids. They was like, they had to been like 15, 16, around 14, 15, 16, one of them ages. Cause let me tell y'all, this is a side note. Bro, tell me why one day, this nigga Duncan, yes, we called him Duncan, that's his name. His name Duncan, his name forever gonna be Duncan. This nigga Duncan, aka YPN Keys, bro, this nigga shot a big bitch in the ass with a BB gun, cause had her. Cause we lived on we live in a duplex. Me and my mama, we lived in a duplex, right? And my uncle used to stay over there all the time, Dallas. Bro, they gonna shoot the bitch in the ass with the BB gun. Her ass start hollering, running down the street. My grandpa got on their ass, cause true story. Can't make this shit up, I swear to God.
28-year-old Desmond.
I just had to share that.
Better known as YPN Rex.
But this nigga Duncan can't stay out of jail.
YPN members such as Rex's little brother Tommy T, Jaquan Martin, better known as Quack Quack, and his younger brother P Merc, named Mercury Martin.
I forgot about P Merc.
North Side, what started out as a group of friends trying to turn nothing into something, with them being one of the most incarcerated rap groups I've ever came across. As every member I just named is currently incarcerated, except for P Merc. As kids, they went from stealing from stores to begging for change to selling bottled water. They eventually took after the older neighborhood hustlers they look up to and began selling drugs themselves. They would graduate from selling.
Yo, this is crazy, bro. How life changed. And you know the fucked up thing about it? I didn't know Duncan was Duncan until my uncle told me, like, Duncan YPN Keys. I'm like, never. But that nigga always had them, no gay shit. He always had, like, his teeth always been the same. Like, his teeth always been healthy and white. Big as fuck, cause swear to God. So that's definitely Duncan.
To the booth to talk about their street hustling success.
Steal from the store. That down there was the first hustle. Second hustle, we used to go beg for change. That was my second hustle, beg for change. Then we elevated. I started going to sell bottled water. Go sell bottled waters. So basically, it's like Milwaukee, you gotta have a hustle. You gotta do something because ain't nobody gonna give you nothing. So went to the bottled waters. Yeah. After that, it was regular weed, and it's the elevated after that. It's just getting bigger and bigger.
Rex, who started off rapping under the name Desi D, was the first one out of the group to start rapping. From a friend, Woody Matt, yeah. convince his friends to join him. Every member of this group would run into serious legal trouble before they even became popular. In 2014, Keith would be charged with possession with intent to sell weed, given 90 days in jail. Quack Quack would be charged with possession of narcotics and being sent.
If you want to improve your relationship with food, here's how you can work with a registered dietitian and get almost nothing.
Thinking about
This is 6 months in jail. The next year, in 2015, it would begin to get worse. On June 1st, Rex would catch a conspiracy to deliver charge, which is basically when you sell to an undercover cop or an informant.
Damn, niggas knocked down the undercover.
He would quickly bond out for $2,500. In August of the same year, Quack was charged with possession with intent to sell heroin, a very serious charge that carries up to 15 years in prison. He would post a $5,300 cash bond and be back on the streets. A month later, Dougie would catch a high-speed charge and receive a signature bond. As you can tell, even though they were all around 18 and 19 years old, they were all deep in the streets hustling.
See, that's perfect. That's perfect time. They were around 18, 19. So that means when Duncan stopped coming around, because I forgot, that nigga started dumping. Because they used to... Okay, that makes sense. Yes, that definitely makes sense.
Put music together and releasing Bad Gone in August. And The Way I Do in October.
Drop it to the oil every time I hit the kitchen. When it's done, I text the act like, where you at? Come get it.
Not even...
You know, it's crazy. These niggas literally teach you how to cook up dope in a video, like on the song, cause like, you know, it ain't no excuse to be broke.
Release, Rex would make another mistake and be charged with possession with intent to sell cocaine. He would bond out for $1,000. So now we're in 2016. Dougie was just released after serving 5 months for the high speed, and many members are out on bonds. But this wasn't stopping anything. June 3rd, Rex would get sentenced to a year in jail for his cases and would miss out on their first big song. Mark would catch a high speed case, and Keith would make a huge mistake on August 30th, being charged with possession with intent to sell cocaine and heroin.
Damn.
As we talked about before.
But these niggas get buzzed down so much. They definitely, if I'm not mistaken, he YPN Keith Duncan, he literally just he violated his parole by selling drugs or some shit recently, like last year recently. So that's that. He literally had just got out, got his CDLs and shit.
These are serious charges that can carry many years. He would receive a signature bond, and a month later, on September 28th, Keith and Dougie would reach out to Lil Chicken to collab on a song. If you aren't familiar with Chicken, go check out the video we did on him. They would link up to record the song, and the next day call Chicken to come shoot the video. Chicken would describe how Keith pulled up to the shoot with $25,000 cash, which was a lot of money in 2016.
He's got like 25.
Nigga, that's a lot of money today. Nigga talking about a lot of money 2016.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, let's shoot the video. Ooh, I'm like, what?
They released the song Dumper and instantly made huge waves in the Milwaukee rap scene. The term dumper is among many words used in Milwaukee that refer to someone selling a lot of drugs. Just like the term slapping and cracking, slapping or dumping your product just means you're selling a lot of it. Quack and Keys would drop a few songs at the end of 2016. One of the songs, being called Addicted by Keys, was a huge success.
Nigga, YPN Keys went on a generational run. YPN Keys, Cap Drive Montana, YPN Kenny. Who the fuck else, cuz? Who the fuck else? Who the fuck else? Who the fuck else? Dougie, nigga. Bro, all them niggas, bro. Them niggas was going fucking crazy. I know I missed some names, but bear with me.
A group that will call themselves the Young Vets, D-Nice and Money Mount, would diss Keys and YPN, causing Keys to drop Lost, a diss song that went absolutely crazy in the city.
I was a boss.
Dougie would catch a new case, another high-speed chase, along with possession of narcotics. He would deeply regret this as tragedy would strike in the coming months. It was a cold, snowy night on the city's north side around 10:30 p.m. when shots rang out on the block of 32nd Street and Hampton Avenue. A vehicle crashed into a bridge after apparently a shootout occurred, leaving two 20-year-olds dead in the crash. Mavante Houghton and Ivan Boyd, two beloved members by YPN, would be found dead after this crash. An 18-year-old passenger survived the crash. He was booked into jail after guns and drugs were found in the car. I have reason to believe this 18-year-old is Tommy T. This would devastate the members, especially Dougie, as he was best friends with Ivan, and he was in jail at the time, not able to get out because of a PO hold.
Damn.
getting it in. All my niggas is my brothers, I ain't got friends.
YPN will continue dropping huge songs all throughout 2017, with Keith leading the charge, racking up millions of views, even remixing Detroit classic All White Buffies. And even though his rap style was awkward and offbeat, it was the authenticity.
Nigga, that shit was slapping though. I ain't gonna lie.
As everyone knew, YPN was really getting money.
All white buffies, like these hoes wanna fuck me.
All white buffies, all these hoes wanna fuck me.
Keith will catch another case February 17th, being charged with 2 counts of reckless and dangerous safety while already out on bond.
This nigga stay in jail, bro. This nigga live his whole life in jail.
Dougie will be released in April, dropping First Day Out, which was huge in the city.
That's what y'all brag about. Ben slapped 20 and he came up passing out.
Rex would finally make his return to the streets that summer, instantly going to work, dropping the biggest song of his to date, Back Home, where he rapped about finally being back home to go right back to street hustling. Which would be a common mistake amongst all the members. His younger brother would be charged in the car accident deaths of Ivan and Mavante, being charged with hit and run resulting in death. While on the run...
Damn. That nigga got hit with 2 basically murders.
Charges. He would release Ballin' in My Phones, another huge song added to the group's catalog.
That nigga got hit with... Damn.
And of course, with all of the success would bring some hate, as YPN members were in Atlanta at a strip club when Keith was jumped and robbed of his jewelry. A Milwaukee rapper by the name Free Grams Boo would instantly hit the internet to claim his fame from the incident, taking the jewelry to get tested, showing it was fake. Boo would also be involved in Dame Dot's chain being snatched in Milwaukee and would post that on the internet as well. Keith would begin to...
So snitching at its finest, by the way.
Accusing Free Grams Boo of being a snitch, which is 100% true.
Nigga, this shit hard. Where your flashlight at?
He was the star witness in a murder trial, but we'll be covering that in a separate video very soon. Though 2017 was their best year music-wise, a lot of them got sentenced this year. Pete Merck received 4 months for the speed. Quack would receive 5 years in prison for his charges. Dougie would receive 6 months for his case, and a few months later, in February of 2018, Keith would receive 4 years in prison for charges. And while in prison, February of 2018, Keith will receive 4 years in prison for his charges, and while in prison will receive an extra 3 years, but will have a chance to complete a program.
Damn, nigga, how the fuck you get time doing time? So this nigga Duck is stupid. How the fuck you get time doing time, bro? This nigga crazy.
Incarcerated in 2018, the music was held down by Dougie and Rex.
Free brother, no bullshit.
Rex dropped his tape War on Drugs early 2018. Shortly after this, his brother would go to trial for the hit and run case, being found guilty and being sentenced to 7 years in prison. And the next year, Dougie would make a huge mistake, being caught selling large amounts of drugs. He would receive 5 years in prison for these charges. And
these niggas just need to retire at this point, cause they get caught. These niggas got so many charges. Like, no funny shit. If these niggas ever get out of jail, you see how many drug charges they got, cuz on top of double homicide, on top of some other shit. That is actually crazy to me, bro.
Another mixtape in 2020.
You all the charges and still get out one day.
Quack would finally be released in 2021. He would rap about his case.
First off the joint, 42 months, man. I think it was, I don't know how many months it was. It was dinner like 40-some months, though.
Quack is back in prison until 2026. He must have violated his supervision because I don't see any new cases keeping him.
That ain't funny, but it's like, cuz these niggas love jail, bro.
Rex, being the main face of YPN at this point, will continue dropping until tragedy would strike the Milwaukee streets. It was May 11, 2022. A 5-year-old was being babysat by her auntie. When her mother went to pick up her kids, she realized the kid was no longer alive. Police searched the house and found corner-cut baggies with fentanyl in them, and soon discovered the child had passed away from an overdose. Witnesses would tell police the mother's boyfriend, Oliver Smith, and Desmond Love were cooking drugs in the kitchen the day.
Hold on, they gave that nigga the book. I know they threw the book at this nigga. This nigga left drugs around. Fentanyl. Killed the child. Possession of fentanyl. It's something. What do they call children? They don't call them minors. They call children something. Neglect. Child neglect. On top of other shit. child abuse, all that shit.
Al passed away. 10 days later,
Run that back.
and Desmond Love were cooking drugs in the kitchen the day the child passed away. 10 days later, the men were arrested after a high-speed chase. In the car, police would find 4 guns and a lot of different drugs.
That's actually
Reds
sad
is
to
now
hear, bro.
facing a lot of serious felonies,
R.I.P.
including
that
reckless
baby.
homicide for the child. He's being held on a $95,000 cash bond. The next year, the most popular member, YPN Keys, would earn early release and get out of prison early, doing a welcome out interview where he
You gonna guess what happened? Hold on.
expressed how he's not going to make the same mistakes and how he still owns businesses, houses, and apartments. Releasing Landlord Back October
Facts.
2023.
Damn, I'm dropping fat shit.
He would be very wrong, as much later in April, he would be charged with possession of cocaine,
Right back to
heroin, and a Glock with the switch attached. He would quickly be revocated and sent back to prison, where he now fights this new case. It would have been crazy to see what this crew could have accomplished if they would have left the
Definitely
fast
would've
life
been
behind
crazy.
and took
Definitely
rap all the
would've
way
been
serious. But a lot of Milwaukee youth are pretty much brainwashed into thinking street hustling is the only way out. We're sending our condolences out to Ivan and Mavante. Also to the innocent kid that lost their life
Yeah,
due
I was
to
about to say.
irresponsible drug dealers. Obviously, we're hoping they're all innocent of these charges and will be proven so. If you made it this far, don't forget to like and subscribe, as it really helps
ain't
the
gonna
channel
lie.
and keeps me.
Innocent is a stretch, but let's hope they come home soon. Like, you know what I'm saying? Don't violate that probation. Good behavior, all that good shit. But hey, that's the story of Duncan, his gang, YPN. And I ain't got much to say, cause it's just niggas love jail, bro. All I'm saying is slow motion better than no motion. But I'm gonna see you niggas in the next one.